city, get the blueprints, utility accesses, anything we can use. I don't know. As soon as I saw we had a guy in the panel named Squall, I got excited because I had some Final Fantasy VIII flashbacks. And I saw a selfie. I saw a selfie in an Irvine walking in, and I got a little excited. 7's trash. There, I said it.
Okay, good enough.
How many times you gotta kill Sephiroth before it loses its meaning?
Well, you play again because Sephiroth is super hot. That's the reason that you play through the game more than one time.
Yeah,
it is literally just for the Sephi.
Oh, I hit him.
Yeah.
With a bat, but I hit him.
Wow. Children in the room. Not particularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the first day of class. Everyone wants to be real cool.
Well,
nerd.
Get up close to the front. Yeah, literally it filled in from the back to the front. That's really interesting. It makes sense in the Bloomington where the door is back there, but that's alright.
That's fine. By the end of this, it'll be like the breakfast club.
Totally.
Someone will fist pump in the air. There'll be a freeze frame. They'll play Don't You Forget About Me.
Oh no, that's gonna be stuck in my head for the next 3 days.
You're welcome.
It's fine.
If it gets really bad, I have an anti-earworm playlist, which
Okay.
I haven't shared because I consider it too dangerous.
Okay.
Anti-earworms like competitive.
It's
Yeah.
Yes, it muscles out whenever
Okay.
it's something that you consider less worse.
Yeah, that can backfire. That's
Yes.
dangerous magic.
Yes. Well, there's like 20 of them, so you could just keep it on a loop and continuously swap your earworms out.
for the rest of your life.
Right, yeah.
If
You can never stop.
You know, I didn't hear the song, oh god, what is it even called? Call Me Maybe. Never heard of it, and then I watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and they go visit another bar, and I have now heard that song, and all I've heard is one line, and it just goes
On a loop.
I made it like 3 years without listening to it one time.
I've heard that if you listen to the whole thing,
It'll
there's like
clean it out.
it's like a completion
Yeah.
thing. Like if it's just the riff or like the
It works sometimes,
Yeah.
but sometimes it gets deep in there.
He's like, are you doing ponies? I was like, no.
earworms.
Earworms, that's
You can do it, Jackie.
I just Stephen Colbert there. Oh, hey!
How's it going? After the monologue?
Hello, nation.
No.
Papa Bear's here.
I have to sit next to this guy for the rest of the panel, you guys. I'm sorry. You've one up me. Okay. Or like 5 up? I don't know. I don't know how it maths up that way.
Yeah, sit next to me. It's about as fun as a sandpaper sleeve and a fleshlight, ain't it?
Children in the room, Nick. I'm gonna hit you.
Just enough to make the bills stop, the phone calls go away, or get me a vacation from work.
I don't get it.
Hang on, start yet.
No, I'm sorry.
Nick, are you a child?
Well, technically you are my chaperone. That's French for you gotta watch me not
That's really
fall,
smart.
so.
I carry this thing with me everywhere. I don't always use it as much as I
Keep
should.
this one on a leash.
It's helpful.
He needs an actual
I got
leash
the
with
idea from my
collar.
grandpa. He
promise?
calls it his CRS notebook, his camera never
promise?
shit notebook.
Oh.
So he keeps it in his breast pocket all the time because he's an old guy.
Yeah,
who
yeah.
always has-
You know, I love those. It's just this monkey like wrapped
It's
around
handy.
the kid, and it's like.
Because I
you
got a brain
don't
like
know.
a steel
You think
Sith,
you have
so
this
I
little
need the
monkey
help.
Because your
I need the
parents don't
assistance.
trust you.
Yeah, the other day I was like, oh, I should write a bunch of notes, things I should talk about for,
Have a squid
the
wrap around you.
YouTube panel, but, kind of got these with everything
I've
else.
seen a ton of stuff. Yeah, I've seen a spider one actually. That one's great.
So is it
really
full
goth
back to
parents
front,
and
or
spider
you
wrap.
still have
There's
Well,
some free chairs, you
it's
guys,
brand
if
new.
you want to filter up, or you can stand it where
I just have, yeah, I
totally
just
cool.
have
Yeah, the pyrotechnics don't
thoughts
reach
and
that far.
ideas.
You'll be okay.
I mean,
Well, that was my question. It's like
I'm
whether
down
this
with
was like a
that.
Gallagher kind of.
Maybe in the last panel.
No, this is YouTube, not Rammstein. You don't got to worry about backsplash or fireworks or any of that stuff.
Bring your own raincoat.
I'm kind of cutting off a chair right there, which I apologize for. Here, we'll move that one.
Okay.
Chair out of the way, so there's another chair available.
Okay, well, the camera rather than.
No, I wanted to get the chair out of the way so that there'd be a space.
very well.
No. The camera gets the spot. The chair's got to
If
move.
somebody sits there, is it out of the way?
No,
of the
we're
camera?
good.
I think
We're good.
it's-
Everything's perfect.
That's
Cool.
probably good.
All right. So
Hi,
you got a
Luxus
couple more seats if you want.
subscribers. Just saying.
Hello,
Oh,
Lux's
here comes-
channel.
Okay, it is close enough. Now move away from me.
Disperse.
I can move you physically.
Wow.
There's some chairs, Katie. Can't wait till I have to make a YouTube.
Make me relocate my office.
Have to upload a proper video.
The lumberjack already moved my office. I will not move my office again. I will find the window in the floor.
You get your stapler?
My stapler here.
Your stapler.
I asked for no thought. No thought on the glove. Big grains of thought.
Okay, it is now 12:30. Welcome everyone to the first hour of actual programming at CONvergence this year. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah! And your troopers for being here on Thursday morning, like, and functional adults and children. It's great, good stuff. So yeah, and also thank you to my panelists for being here. To start off with, let's just talk about what this is supposed to be. So, how do you start a YouTube channel and making videos and starting a YouTube channel and subscriptions and probably other stuff. So the long and the short of it is that we're going to start introducing our panelists to our all YouTubers. And start over here.
Hi, I'm Kat Surth, and I'm on YouTube. I do a variety of different things, mostly with hair, so hair cutting, perming, bleaching, pretty much anything. And so I'm always looking for models, blah, blah, blah. I also am kind of known for like a little bit of short and tie, that's what I'm wearing today, and I guess that's about it. Short and sweet.
I'm Steve. On the internet, I'm known as Morejax most everywhere. I've been doing YouTube for a little more than 2.5 years, and I've got a Let's Play style gaming channel, which I enjoy very much.
Cool. My name is Nicholas Bowden. I am known as NJ Bowden on the internet. And what I do on YouTube is basically vlogging. I have a series of retail horror stories where I talk about my retail experiences. They're all horrible, as you would expect. And I just basically talk about game industry stuff. I just delved into the realm of Let's Plays, and that's about it.
Okay. And my name is Luxander, and I'm going to be moderating this panel because I am important. I don't know. I have 2 YouTube channels, a gaming channel, and a channel that ends up being all about how I'm trans, even though I don't want it to be. And then that's my experience on YouTube. So I want to open up with some questions. Well, actually, first of all, you guys, what kind of channels are you interested in learning about? Like, just shout. It's fine.
Music.
Gaming!
Gaming, music.
Living abroad. Movie reviews.
Fan films.
Okay, cool. That's a good
Animation.
vlogging. Okay, good. We might be able to cover some of those bases. A couple of them, I think. So, okay, we're starting out as YouTubers. We have all very many important questions. So, I'm going to start with you, Nick. What would you tell yourself if you could go back to when you were first starting YouTube?
Well, it was a lesson I learned a little bit later on, not too much later on, but the best thing I would say to myself is don't box yourself into doing one thing. Even though starting out you might have technical limitations that stop you from doing everything you want to, it doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't be able to do what you want to. So I'd say just do what you can starting out, and then later on you can bridge out and expand as you go. Because that's the nice thing about doing YouTube is it's kind of a get as you grow kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if I could go back in time and tell starting me a couple of tips, it would be to actually start. Like, I spent a lot of time like, oh man, it'd be so cool to have a YouTube channel, and I wish I would have started sooner, because that's, you learn by doing. You learn by making videos, you make mistakes, you learn how to do it better. So the sooner you start, the sooner you learn how to do a good job doing it. So start like as soon as you have the notion to do it and the inclination. And I'm very, very into the numbers and into the analytics of YouTube. So I would, for myself, I would get lost in the analytics. So pay attention to those analytics if you do start a YouTube channel, but don't get consumed by them, because nothing will throw you into a funk faster than, like, YouTube is up and down, up and down, up and down constantly. It's not always just up. So when it goes down, it feels terrible. And so just don't obsess over that. Pay attention to what works and try to find trends, but don't let yourself get lost in the analytics.
So mine's kind of similar. I have a name for my channel, But now, because I've done so many other things, I've kind of gone a different direction. So I'd say do something that's more you. So like pick a name, like an alias. You don't really want to use your real name because of all the stalkers out there. But choose like a name that you're going to stick with. Don't just like have a category of a name. So do something more you. So that way anything you do, when people view it, they're like, oh, it's this person. And they can always identify with you. If you change whatever thing you're going to do later on, like you decide to do something else, they will still always know it's you and not expect it to be that thing, but just you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I do want to drive that home that it's, I think it's good to put yourself out there. Like if you're doing a gaming channel or vlogging or lifestyle or any type of channel like that, is you want your personality to be the first thing that shows. Like, even if you branch out into other things later, you're not limiting by just like, okay, I'm gonna do Let's Play content, and then you make a channel called Lux Play, and that's locked in forever. So yeah, those are really good suggestions. So the next thing I want to ask you guys about is what's the most difficult thing you've learned from the beginning to now? What's the most difficult or important lesson that you have learned from YouTube?
I have a love-hate relationship with YouTube. So as soon as you can possibly like monetize your channel, do that. I had a thing where YouTube was claiming I was from Brazil or something weird. And I didn't keep up on that. So if you have a problem with YouTube of how they're doing something to you, keep on them. Just keep writing. That was my thing. It's like it took me 4 years. And actually I had my YouTube, I think, since 2006. So just this year I started to finally monetize my channel. So, and that was a lot of back and forth, just keep going and keep at it. Don't give up, don't let go. You'll finally get it.
And really quick, how many subs do you have?
I have, 12,000 or so, close to that.
Super.
So.
What do you mean by monetize for people who don't know?
Okay, so you can make money off your channel. And so YouTube just changed it where you have to have so many subscribers to your channel
It's
right now.
10,000 views.
10,000
just
lifetime
views
views.
now? Oh, wonderful. That'd be pretty easy.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, as soon as you can, monetize your channel, which make money from your channel, you can go in there. And YouTube has a great resource guide, so if you don't know how to do something, they do have a bunch of like guides on how to do things, or you can just put in YouTube like, how do I do this? And it's pretty fantastic. But yeah, so once you're able to monetize your channel, then go ahead and it doesn't matter how many videos you have, they have a bulk upload type of thing or bulk thing where you just be like, yeah, I want to monetize these, click, and then it shows and you're like, yes, monetize it. So you can do that. And also, I forget how many subscribers you must have before you can actually like sell your videos on there. And I've tried that before. That's kind of a pain in the butt. So I would say there's another website, which I'm probably branching off into something else, but there's other websites where you can do to actually make like more money, like you want to charge like $5.99 for your video. So because YouTube has a thing where you have to pick every single country and you have to like figure out, okay, if it's $9.99 in my country, how much is it in various other countries like India and whatever. And for some reason they will not sell in Germany. Who knows?
Interesting.
I think that's 1,000 subscribers, if I'm remembering right.
Okay.
Where you can actually sell like $1.99 or $5.99 for like a short or a video or whatever.
Yeah. But a monetized video is just one that has ads play against it or not.
I'd also bring up that it's important that when you're setting up monetization, they always ask you to put in like a website or something like that when you're signing up for AdSense. And I made a horrible mistake of putting in a site that I didn't really keep for very long, and they don't let you update that until you're already approved, which sounds really weird. But I only just now finally got that figured out because I was able to go to their customer service. But that's a real pain in the butt. So make sure that when you're putting in the website link or whatever, make sure it's something that will stick. Because otherwise it's going to be a long, torturous process.
Yeah, I typically use my Google account that I use for my YouTube to also do AdSense so that it's all just kind of together, not an issue even after that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's a great idea to just keep personal and, you know, I wouldn't call it business, but keep your YouTube stuff separate just so you can have that divide and keep your personal life and everything separate, but also so that everything can be set in stone, and then if you want to change up things later on, then you can just edit your personal stuff as much as you want. You kind of become your channel the more you do it, which is really weird. But people who've done it understand what I mean. Like you grow beyond just being you. You become what is presented to other people.
Okay. What's the most important thing you've learned?
Yeah,
What's most difficult?
I'd say that so humans are great at looking for shortcuts. Like in every single arena of life, you try to find the easy way. There's no secret sauce for YouTube. It's just like learning the piano, learning the violin. It takes hard work. It takes intentional practice, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of continued effort at making videos and trying to learn from your mistakes and continue to make new things. So as much as I would love for there to be, there's no magic beans or secret sauce besides just dead hard work, plugging away at it. So
Cool. Nick,
I would,
most difficult or important thing?
well, the most important thing would definitely be realizing the importance of setting realistic goals starting out. When I started out, I made an introduction video and I said, the biggest thing for me, my million would be getting to 100. Because I thought that was so out of reach, because never making a video before, never editing, never doing any of that, I felt like it was completely out of touch, but I figured if I set an impossible goal, even if I fall short, I still feel like it would have gone further than I did when I started. And when I hit that goal, I was compelled to go further and go on more and more and more. So it really mattered to me to just keep trying and keep setting new goals and not putting them too far out, because then when you don't reach them right away, you get burned out, you quit, you don't care anymore. So the most important thing I could tell myself going, if I went back in time, was it's so important you don't realize it, setting a small goal like that, which to me was a big goal, but to set small incremental goals to the point where you're always motivated to chase them and you're never going to get burned out. Because even if you get close, that's still motivation. I'm so close, I'm almost there, it's not that far away, so you just want to keep going. So that's the most important thing I would go back and tell myself.
Cool. Yeah, I think that a lot of people go into YouTube and like everybody knows that it's possible to monetize it, so everybody wants to make money doing YouTube, and that's totally cool. You end up with a little bit of like a surplus on certain things, like gaming channels, 1, 2, 3. But initially, when you go in, I would say it's good to just do it for enjoyment. Like, don't go in thinking, oh, I'm gonna blow up and be the next PewDiePie, because A, nobody wants that, and B, it's just not realistic. Just I typically say like, oh, I'll C in this class, and then I get an A, and I feel better about it. So I tend to set lower expectations, and once you hit that 100 that feels like your million, it does feel pretty awesome. Like, I just crossed 400, and it's so stupid small, but I feel amazing, and I'm like, yay, numbers. I try not to get too wrapped up in it, but I love talking to Steve because he's the best on numbers. But we're gonna get to that in a minute. I have some order of questions in here. Okay, this question is phrased in a ridiculous way because I could not figure out how to phrase it. Basically, how did you each get to where you are right now with your current subscriber and view count? So basically, like, what tricks or things have you specifically done that have gotten you to the point where you are now? You're the biggest one, so what did you do that was better than all three of us?
Yeah.
I'm taking notes.
What did you do that was better than all three of us?
Combined.
Yeah, I'm about to get told.
Well.
All right. So basically, don't just rely on YouTube as your way of getting viewers. I mean, people will search, so definitely have a lot of keywords. I'm sure that you're going to go over that more. But look outside. So I basically had a following before YouTube. I think I was around before YouTube existed, I want to say, or pretty dang close. But so have a website, Google like forums. So if you like do gaming or beauty or whatever, Google like beauty forum or group or whatever. Join those groups, have a community. And that's going to be the main thing, is if you have a community that you've either started or you are in and you contribute to, then people will see you as, you know, someone to listen to. And then, of course, they're going to want to learn more about you. So you definitely need to build up that audience first. And then wherever you go, always have, like, in your signature, have all your websites. So if you have your Instagram, Twitter, Vimeo, whatever. And also with videos too, don't just rely on YouTube alone. There's people who they cannot access YouTube. So have your videos also on other channels as well, like Vimeo's one. I have stuff everywhere else. I'm all over the place, but scatter yourself. So just don't rely on one website, because not everybody can access it. Go everywhere you can.
Do you put every video on every website, or do you pick and choose?
I pick and choose. Some channels I have more I definitely want to have a different direction. But yeah, so definitely there's different direction then, and then of course I have things because I'm so busy. I don't really have time to monitor all my social media channels, where you can have it set where it'll automatically post on various things. So like my Facebook has like Instagram going into it, Twitter going into it. I can't even tell you what else. But yeah, but definitely for, even like for my Instagram, I have some of the photos going on Facebook and some of them I want to have just on Instagram because I know there's different followers and I want more followers on my Instagram, so working really hard on my Instagram right now. So, but definitely do try to put some, and you can see what actually works. Because on some social media sites, they're better for whatever content you're doing. So if you see that, I'd say at first, put everything. And then see like, where are you getting the hits? And then keep, with that channel, just put all of those videos on that one. So hopefully that will help. But that'll still bring, and then still of course have a main website. Websites are really cheap. I used HostPapa, and then use WordPress. It's free. And then just have like that be your main thing, where we can have links to everything else. So I have a landing page and then all these little buttons, icons, where people can click and go wherever. So, long answer.
That's all right. Good.
So I've actually written a, it's more than 80-page pay what you want guide on how to grow your channel. So I have a lot of opinions on this on this matter, and I'll share that around to anyone who's interested. Afterwards. So there's something, for those of you who don't know, there's something called sub for sub on YouTube, and it goes by different names, but basically it's when people in some way or another say, I just subscribed to you, come subscribe to me too, we'll help each other grow. Inevitably, it never works like that. It's empty subscribers, and
it's a bannable offense now.
Yeah, so you can get your channel banned for that as well. But it's basically people who go around wholesale to as many channels as they can find, and they say, let's help each other out. I'll subscribe to you, you subscribe to me. And even if they say they're gonna watch your videos, they're not gonna watch your videos. So what you end up having is you have maybe a large-ish subscriber number, but you're not getting any views. And you get paid on views. You get, if you cross the 10,000 lifetime view is when you can start monetizing. And it just is, it's basically like spam. It's like garbage. It doesn't help you to build an actual community. And I would argue that a YouTuber's community is perhaps the most valuable thing that we have and we cultivate, you know, even more than our videos or our series or our social media platforms. It's the people that you interact with, for me at least, that makes it a lot of fun. So please don't do sub for sub. And I just block people outright that do that on my channel or try to use my channel as their advertising space. I'd say that, like I said before, start making videos and just keep making videos. If you have an idea to make something, make something. You learn a little bit better how to do it, and it's kind of like buying tickets to the YouTube raffle, right? So it's hard to know if we knew exactly how to make a viral video, we'd just be doing exclusively that, right? So we don't know always what's going to be popular, and you get some sense of like, okay, this series is pretty good, so I'll keep making things like that. But the more videos you make, the more chances you have at not even something going viral, but just getting a little bit of traction. And then, Kat, you mentioned going on to forums and things, and I think that's really relevant with gaming YouTube channels, is don't just pick up a game, play it, and I mean, sometimes you could do that. You can just kind of do a flyby and you cover a game and just kind of check it out. But if there's a game you like, go on that forum, spend a lot of time there, get to know people, talk about the mechanics of the game, talk about what the feature in the game that you hate that you wish was better, or whatever it is. And then when you start posting videos, these people know you. You're not just some person trying to shove a video down your throat. You're part of the community, and it sort of is. It's maybe shallow to think about it as like a built-in audience, but it's like if you get excited about a game and if you love doing that and you hang out with all the other people that love doing that, that adds value to the community, and I think that's really important. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I said, I've written an 80-page guide on all kinds of different things like this, so I'm gonna try not to yak on too long. So I'll leave it at that.
All right, and we are going to be available for a little bit after the panel is like officially over. If you guys want to hang out and chat for a little bit, I am going to open up for questions for like the last 10 to 15 minutes of the thing, though. So that's also happening. Nick, I know that you have several different things that you've got. You've got like the retail horror stories, you have like an audience that specifically comes to you for that, and like has that kind of played like a role in your growth?
It has, because they come out and check out everything else as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, when I first started out, I was thinking about having multiple channels for different things. Excuse me, Jim Cornetted. But I was thinking about having multiple channels for multiple things just so that I could just see what grows, just see what sticks. But I realized it's so much easier to keep everything in one shot, so then when people come to my channel, if they hate one thing, they're going to hang out for the other thing. Whereas I would have a channel that completely bombs, but then I feel like I'm boxed into making that one thing all the time. Because the key is to do something you love and you enjoy. Because if you just start doing YouTube just to appease other people, you're going to get burned out, you're going to hate it. Because that's not what YouTube is about. YouTube was made so that you could upload videos of your special events, for things that you enjoy, your fan films, anything that you wanted to do. It's for you as much as it is for other people. But you got to keep that in mind. Because if you start just making content for the sake of, I just want views, I want this, you're going to get burned out, you're going to hate it. Let me tell you something about sub for sub. I've been over here seething. You guys are cruel.
I know, I'm making you wait.
Sub for sub is the cancer of YouTube. Because let me tell you something. No, I'm being dead serious right here. When someone subscribes to your channel, you're lucky if someone finds your channel. If someone sits through a video of yours, if they're lucky enough to even like it. And if for whatever reason they feel compelled to hit the subscribe button, that's a vote of confidence in you from a person. Unless you paid for a bot, and that's a load of crap. But subscribers mean more than just a number on your channel. If you just sub for sub, it's a hollow number. You can have 10,000 subs, but if you only get 5 views a video, who cares? It doesn't matter. The number's in the wrong place. It's like having the decimal point in the wrong place on your paycheck. Yeah, there's a lot of numbers there, but what does it matter? You know, so the thing is, you have people who invest in you, and that a subscription is a vote of confidence. It's saying, hey, I love what you do. I like you as a person, or preferably both. You know, and take that for granted to the point where it's just, I need to inflate my numbers so I look great. When someone clicks on your video, they're like, wow, this guy has 1,000 subs, he must be great. And they look at a video, it's like, Minecraft speed run. You know, 1 view, no views. They go through those, no views, no views, no views, no views. It doesn't matter. And it's like Marjack said, they're just gonna unsub anyway, or you're gonna sub to them. English, Nick.exe has quit working. Please reload. I run on Windows 10.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just got the creators update. But the point I'm trying to make with this, I'm not gonna turn this into a rant, but you know, doing YouTube, it's gonna sound corny, but it is a magical thing. It is a bit of validation, but it is also self-expression. And when someone subscribes and someone likes your stuff, it's validation, but it's great. And when someone just treats their subs like, well, you're gonna bump up my numbers, you know, they're people, they're not numbers. You know, and that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to the question, the best thing I can say is something that's really helped growth, aside from just diversifying and keeping everything on one channel, is don't get lazy and use timing to your advantage. An obscure random video I did is Blink-182 came out with a new song last year. It was called Bored to Death. The single dropped while I was at work. And I listened to it, I thought it was great. I was like, man, I need to review this. This isn't what I do, but I'm going to do it anyway. Again, don't feel boxed in, because sometimes the things that you don't work hard on at all, and sometimes the things that are just out of left field might do the best. So I had a rousing 53 subscribers, and I was like, well, what the hell, I have nothing really to lose, but I'll give it a go. So I went on a I can't do this today. I went on a 15-minute break at work. This is why I edit my stuff. I went on a 15-minute break at work, and I just recorded the audio with my phone. But luckily I had my laptop with me. I slapped it over some game footage, uploaded it. I did some cheap free edits online, got it up, and I had 1,000 views within an hour. And when you're a small channel, that's like gold. That got me my first paycheck from YouTube. So don't get lazy and don't let events pass you by. I'm not saying be a trash channel that is like, oh, I'm going to talk about this speculative thing. I'm going to talk about this rumor all the time. And if that's what you want to do, go for it. But what I'm saying is, it's not always the most rewarding, but definitely take advantage of situations as they come up. You know, definitely, because they could be your key to success. I got, what was that, 32 subs from that one video? Which is astounding. And then I kind of said in the next video, hey guys, I'm not a music channel, and then, you know, I lost 15. But honesty is also the best course of action. So don't get lazy, be honest with your with your, I guess I can say, fan base. I just don't want to be so presumptuous.
Audience, I go for it.
They
It's
watch my
neutral.
videos. I can't assume they're fans of me. But, you know, just definitely take advantage of situations as they come up, because if they pass you by, a lot of times they won't come up again.
Yeah. One thing I want to add to like what you can do outside of just being on YouTube, and I really thought you were gonna hit this one, but we're at CONvergence. This guy has ribbons. Usually.
I do have ribbons.
He has ribbons.
They are in my pocket.
This is how you advertise, okay? You can come to events like this, and literally, if you have some ribbons or if you have business cards, you can get in conversations with people, like in the party room, pick a mutual interest kind of room, get to know people, get your message out there, and get more subs. I also really like the focus on community, because I do think that that is one of the most essential aspects, especially for a very, very small channel. I have 400 subs on one channel, 75 on the other, and when you're a really small YouTuber, those people are more likely going to be your friends and your family. Like, that is literally, like, 500 and under, those are that's your family, and they're going to stick with you until you just stop uploading videos. So really, like, the emphasis on, like, the back and forth with the community is super important. I personally find it very useful to be active in comment sections. I've actually started becoming, like, I've gotten more subs commenting on other people's videos who are, like, similar channels to mine. Which I used to lurk all the time, and I didn't realize how much it was hurting me, and then I started getting subscribers all of a sudden, and it's just engaging with the community that does the type of content that you do. I am, like, basically, I talk about being transgender all the time, and so I comment on videos from other trans people, and that's the kind of niche that I've managed to get myself in. I have one video that has 7,000 views, and it's weird, and it's a review of a product for trans people. So that one-off thing, like, I have nowhere near 7,000 subscribers, but you literally, one video is just gonna spike you, and you don't even know what it's gonna be unless you experiment and try out new things and all that.
It's like college folks.
Yeah. Except don't go to college unless you know what you're going in for.
It's spendy.
It's spendy, yes. Alright, so before we move on to questions, I want to talk about hardware and software recommendations. We kind of have different stuff that we do, so what type of setup does everybody have? Like, you do, I don't have any idea how you do your thing. How do you do your thing?
Okay,
I
so
can't do words either.
I kind of use professional equipment for video. My audio I need help with. So sometimes I'll use my iPhone for capturing audio. That's not always the greatest because sometimes there's a lag and then you have to go in there and splice and move, so not the best. But otherwise, lately I have been using this lovely iPhone, and right now I am shooting live. And so whatever you have, it doesn't really matter as long as it's not all pixelated. And unfortunately, sometimes YouTube will pixelate things anyway. They'll compress it way too bad, and then people will be like, "Kat, your video is kind of crappy." I'm like, I know, but nothing I can do about that. But yeah, so just basically use whatever you have. And then as for editing, if I'm using the iPhone, I will just directly load it up to YouTube, because YouTube does have an editor. The blurring option is kind of a pain in the butt to use, so plan 2 hours on using that. Otherwise, I use Adobe Premiere Pro CS5, and so I do a lot of Photoshop and things like that when I'm using my good cameras. But otherwise, just use whatever you have and have fun with it.
What's yours?
I've definitely upgraded piecewise as I've over my 2.5 or so years. I've kind of got upgrades bit by bit. In terms of I don't do webcam terribly often, but I've got a Logitech C920, which works great if you've got some decent lighting. It's like, I think it's like $80 or something, $100. So it's not necessarily like cheap, but it's really quite good for the quality that you get. If you're looking at getting a standalone microphone, I would really, really, really recommend a dynamic microphone over a condenser microphone. And the difference is that a dynamic microphone is what you would see at like a karaoke night or something. It's kind of the characteristic mic that you think about. And so condenser mics pick up everything. They will pick up your neighbor's pet cricket, right? So that's really good if you're in an acoustically well-controlled environment. If you've got, soundproofing and things like this in the studio, it's wonderful because you can pick up all the little nuances of the sound. But if you're recording in your house you don't want to hear every time someone flushes the toilet or closes a door or whatever, because you got to go back and edit that, right? And that's horrible to introduce things that you now have to edit out or limit the way you can make your videos. So I would highly recommend dynamic mics, and I've got a section in my guide, but some just some off the recommendations, I guess, off from the hip. The CAD U1 is like 20 or 30 bucks. It's a really good starter dynamic mic. A mid-range one is the Shure SM58, and that's about 80 or 100 bucks. And then the one that I have now, and I love it, love it, love it, it is so good, is the Electrovoice RE320, and that runs about 300, I think. So I've kind of upgraded as time goes by with my microphones, with my webcam, with my computer. So I'm happy to field any questions about that. So.
Just a quick one. So then you're holding a mic, or
No, I've got a boom arm suspended from my desk.
Okay.
So it's kind of held out in front of me.
But visible on camera.
Yes.
Yep.
You can. Yeah. I mean, you can. Certain mics are a little bit better about being further away. Condenser mics like to be about a foot away on average, so those are a little easier to have off screen. Dynamic mics 4 to 6 inches on average. So, yeah. But mine is where you can see it in the webcam.
Do you have any particular editing software you
Oh,
prefer?
I would highly recommend Sony Movie Studio Platinum Suite. You can get whatever version, but I've got 12. It's basically Sony Vegas Junior. And instead of like the 300 bucks that Sony, or however much Sony Vegas costs, it's like 40 bucks for a few versions back. And it works, I think it works great. It does everything I want it to do. For recording, there's a free program called OBS, which is fantastic, open broadcaster software. And then audio editing, another free program is called Audacity, which is a great one. So
That program that you mentioned, the
Sony Vegas.
yeah.
is that something where there's also like a payment plan?
No, and that, so generally speaking, like Premiere, Adobe Premiere has, instead of buying it, you can do like a monthly subscription, and that rubs me the wrong way. Like I personally, it's hard for me to pay like a monthly amount. It's easier for me, even if I might be paying a little bit more, I just like to have it. And that might just be me, but Sony Vegas, I don't believe, has a monthly subscription. Adobe Premiere does, so you can try it out for a short while if you want. And that's Sony Vegas and Adobe Premieres is what the video editing professionals use, so far as I can tell. But yeah, if it's Sony Movie Studio Platinum Suite 12.
I can talk more about Adobe Suite in a minute here.
Yeah.
Do you have hardware or software recommendations?
Well, my videos are primarily my voice, so I've always been interested in getting new microphones, ways to record on the go. Just recently I invested in a portable recorder, the Tascam DR40, and that also has XLR outputs, so you can hook up an XLR microphone to it and just record on the go. And what I do is I bring that to work with me every day, and if I have an idea for a video, I'll just record it on my break, and then I'll go home, edit it in Audacity, which is fantastic, and the low price of free.
Yeah.
So I would do that, and then I just slapped over some game footage, because it gives people something to zonk out to while they listen to me ramble like an idiot. So, and I would just pick up microphones as well. I recommended the Shure SM57 or the 58. I have 4 Chinese knockoffs of the SM57 that I got off Amazon. They're $10 a shot. And having used the Shure SM57s, they sound pretty equal, in my opinion. So it's also about keeping an eye open and being open-minded. Sometimes cheap gear is great gear. Especially starting out, I just recorded and did everything on my iPhone 4 because I didn't have a camera, I didn't have a microphone, so you sometimes just have to use what you got.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as recording now goes, I have, we got 2 Logitech C920s, a Logitech C922, which is my main camera. I use a Shure PGA-27, which was about $280, and we have 2 Blue Yetis. I don't use all of those at once. That is ridiculous.
Press conference. there.
Surround sound.
Right? Well, one time I set them all up on my desk. I'm like, this is stupid.
Do it.
But I do recommend XLR microphones over USB microphones. I recommend the Blue Snowball over the Blue Yeti because it's the same microphone. The only difference is the Yeti has headphone monitoring, so you can listen to yourself talk, and you can also use it as an audio device. So if you are playing games, you can hear yourself talk over the game audio as well, but isolate your voice. But the reason why it's kind of the same microphone is the Yeti has like a tri-capsule design, so it has 3 ways to capture audio. But if you have it in the cardioid mode, which is where you're talking in front of it, it only uses one of those capsules. The Blue Snowball is $50. It does the exact same thing. So I have an Alesis mixer that I run my XLR mics through that provide phantom power for the microphones. I do the same thing. I suspend my microphone from a boom arm that's attached to my desk. I also have desktop stands if I ever want to shake it up. My boom arm isn't visible in my videos, though. I kind of have it to where if you see it on camera, it's literally like, here's the bottom of the frame and here's my microphone. So it's kind of out of my face, and I can also swing it on my way if I want to play games or stuff like that. But I record everything in OBS. I edit it all in Adobe Premiere Pro, which I will not be renewing my subscription to, simply because there comes a point where it's like renting a router from your cable company. You hit that point where you could have bought it and owned it and probably had a better one. It works, it does a fantastic job, but there are other options out there that are cheaper in the long run that will give you the same, if not possibly better results, depending on what you do.
Okay, I'm gonna be the only person here defending Adobe.
I love Adobe, it's just I hate paying for it.
No,
and
I get you, I get you.
That's why you get the previous version, because I will not pay for the subscription either. So I use CS5.
I was late
Yeah,
to the party.
Photoshop, I have the Illustrator, I have all of it, access to it. You also have stock photos you have access to. You have fonts that you can't get anywhere else if you want put any kind of typing on your videos. I really, really think that it's worth it if you can to use Adobe products. Although there are free things that you can use. The YouTube editor on the phone, god awful. But while we're here, I'm going to be learning how it works on the computer, because I'm gonna have to edit my videos that are gonna be going up during CONvergence on the actual website. It's just youtube.com/editor, I think. So that, like, YouTube has a page now for you to edit, and you can pull multiple clips in and have it function a lot better than what they used to kind of sort of have as an editing thing. So there is, like, within YouTube the ability to use their software.
Let me tell you something, it's not bad. I used it for 70 videos straight before I finally was like, I want to do something that requires more in-depth editing. I wanted to use graphics. I wanted to have better sound editing. But as far as like recording something, doing simple cut and paste editing, it works great. And it's great for starting out and really cutting your teeth on. Because like I said, I never edited or shot a video before, but I really learned the importance of editing by using YouTube's, and it's free. So you'd be foolish to at least not give it a go.
Yeah, especially if you're just starting out and you don't really have a whole lot to work with. On hardware, okay, actually, Audacity I do use to record. It's amazing. I use Bandicam to record my screen because I do gaming videos. That is $40 one time, and that takes the watermark off of the videos, and it lets you record for longer than 10 minutes. So the OBS, also great. I use OBS when I'm live streaming.
Yep.
It's super useful for that. And as for my hardware, that camera right there is the one that I use to record my gaming videos. I use the Logitech C920 for my vlogs, and I actually have a Blue Snowball Ice. So it's a round microphone, it is white, and it's like $50. It's not very expensive, but it is pretty decent sound quality to it. Having decent sound quality is more important than video quality. It tricks people into thinking that your videos are better. Psychology. Okay. So that's all about I have for questions for us. So I'm gonna open it up if anybody has anything that they want to ask. You are back there. Hi.
Just a kind of a weird tip for you on the software front. Make friends with a programmer. As you start to get deep into your YouTube journey, you're going to want to do things like, hey, I want to pull in views across other channels to see which subscribers are moving in which ways. It's something which manually you can go to each of them and put it into a giant Excel spreadsheet. It'll take you days. Or your programmer friend can spend 20 minutes throwing together a Python script that will be able to be run any time that you want it, right? You're going to have cases where you're going to say, well, I shot all this raw video, but it turns out it's in the wrong format. I need to mass convert it, and it's going to be a pain in the ass to go and hunt down the right tools and to write a script to do this. Get your programmer friend to do it. If you don't know somebody in person, chances are one of your viewers will be or will know a programmer who will be able part of that community that you've built, and will be excited to actually be a part of that process, even if it's kind of behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Working with friends, also great. Friends are always like, I want to be in your video. You're going to be putting it on YouTube. What? Okay.
I have an editing question. So the videos that I make have a lot of little cuts. So I've used Audacity, and Frank gave me a nice microphone, so I've used Audacity, but like, if I go through and edit the video with the questionable sound that comes through my camera, I have to do all those cuts again with Audacity. I don't use Premiere or the Sony one.
Sony Vegas Junior.
Is there like a way to like edit your sound and your video at the same time?
What are you
See what I'm
using for
saying?
your video?
Video pad?
Does it let you? Okay. Does it have 2 channels, like video and then sound?
Yeah.
Does it not record the sound very well? Like.
Well, if I record the sound, then it's a separate file, and I can edit the video, but then I have to go back and do the sound to make the clips match.
I would highly recommend so that Sony Vegas or Sony Movie Studio Platinum Suite 12 is about $40
And
because
let
it's 2 or 3
it'll
versions
still
back.
keep the video and the sound together.
Yeah, you load it back in, you sync it up, right? So you've got to. What I recommend is at the start of your video, if you've got a camera, you say 1, 2, 3, and then you clap. It gives a nice sharp spike on the audio track. Do it again at the end, because if there's if there's a wandering desync, you'll thank yourself later to have a sync point at the start and the end. So you sync up your audio, and then you can clip everything at the same time.
Yeah,
And
because
it's
once you move the video, the audio doesn't always follow it.
right,
And
right,
that's-
and it will
You
in
can sync it, but then once you cut that clip, it's just like lost.
right. So it would be a $40 one time, and obviously I don't know what resources you have available to
Right.
spend on it,
Right.
but it sounds like you've already been putting in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So you might,
$40
you know,
would be totally worth it.
yeah, you might
'Cause
a
it's
year from
like-
now say, thank goodness I, you know,
It's like weeks of
yes,
saving
it's a
time,
huge
all
amount
that
of
audio
effort
around. And then I
to
got
sync and
better sounding
resync and
audio,
cut and resync again. So
The
And you can
downs-
always look up guides, like, haha, go to YouTube and look for a
Right.
guide. How to do this?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Answers. What?
I was gonna say what?
Sorry, I just. I
No, it's fine. I was gonna say the downside of YouTube is it can be a free to start, but eventually you do reach a point where you do have to spend a little bit of money if you want to keep going, because you do grow. You do get beyond just hitting record and uploading and calling it a day, because you set your standards a little bit higher. There's more you want to do. Your ambitions kind of outweigh your technical limitations. So that definitely sounds like a situation you might have to throw a little bit of cash at. But it's definitely an investment in the long run, because then you can have that kind of quality
And
forever.
if you're doing it for fun, then it's just money you're spending to do a fun thing.
Yeah, I've
Right.
gotten to the point where I've done the fun part, and now I know what I want to do, so I have to figure out.
All right, how to go from there. What's up?
Hardware technology question. How do you deal with large files, storing and backing them up?
I've got an external hard drive, and this is another thing that I upgraded. I had a 1 terabyte that I use for everything on my computer, and eventually I saved up for a small solid state for my operating system. And I think I've got a 3 terabyte internal and a 4 terabyte external. And I use the external as like cold storage offline that I have never really used it, but I put all my videos there in case YouTube explodes or I don't know what. But data's relatively cheap. I know that Google will also give you, I think it's like 100 gigabytes of storage for like $2 a month or something.
Yeah, it is.
So that might be a nice in-between if you're saving up for a 1 or 2 or 3 terabyte hard drive. But even like a 1 terabyte hard drive is pretty dang cheap these days.
Are you having issues with space or your files being like way big for some reason?
I've had externals fail, and so I'm looking if you guys have a good external, like offsite web or cloud backup that you guys use for storing.
There are some paid services that are cloud, but like honestly
Yeah.
having a solid state that you just back up things to is the like best way to
If you are looking for cloud storage, I would recommend checking out Code 42. That's pretty cheap rates.
And you can re-download your videos back from YouTube again. They've gone through the YouTube's compression at that point, but it's better than not having your videos if your house burns down or something and your hard drive explodes or whatever. I don't know what.
Yeah.
So an excellent recommendation, this is something I discovered later on, if you really want to get your files small and still keep them, and something I do every time before I even upload a video is I run through a program that's free, great price, called Handbrake.
Yes.
Yes,
And
I was gonna recommend that. It encodes them and makes them tiny.
it makes them extremely small. I've gotten a video down from 32 gig to 868 megabytes.
For real.
It
does
takes
a-
some time to
It's
render.
an extra process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an extra step in the process, but you can encode and take like gigabytes and just
And
it loads easier into your editing software.
It optimizes it for the internet.
Yeah.
It does maintain the quality to where it's almost indistinguishable. You really gotta look, but it does a fantastic job of compressing it. So if you don't have an external hard drive or cloud storage right away, it's a great temporary thing, because I have an archive. Until I got another hard drive, I had a folder just called archives on my desktop. I would just drop them in there, and at that point it was the compressed version. Again, it's almost indistinguishable. Drop it in there, and then once you do get an external or cloud storage, you just dump them in there, and they're still small enough to where they're not going to make a real big difference on your hard drive space. But that's a great way to get them down to where it's a temporary fix and it'll last you a long, long time.
Say the name of it again.
Handbrake. Handbrake.
All one word. Buzz.
So, quick question about the GoPro, because see, I never made it, because I tried making YouTube videos on a GoPro once. See, I was recording Let's Play for Yoshi's Woolly World, which was going to be my very first video, and at some point the GoPro cut, and Scott usually does, and my stepdad Scott, well, soon to be since he hasn't married my mom yet, has some very large business things, and he knows how to use the GoPro. So I want to ask you, how do I use a GoPro and make a gaming video?
Have you guys worked with that?
You know, I've not used a GoPro specifically. I know that, and this is sort of a lame thing, I guess, but there's a distinction between like something that you could take pictures with and like a video camcorder. And it's dumb, but there's hardwired into a lot of these, like if you get like your just snapshot digital camera, it can't record more than 15 minutes. And this is a programmed in limitation to these things that are not called camcorders. So that might be what's going on. I don't know. I haven't worked with a GoPro personally enough to really say one way or the other.
It might just
That is what's going on.
Is it? Okay, okay. So it's not considered a camcorder.
Yeah.
So you can't do more than 15
And
minutes at a time.
It's a weird legal tax loop
Right.
thing.
I think it's bogus, but
Yeah.
it exists,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
they're kind of just for action shots, really. Like
Yep.
a GoPro is for sticking on your head when you go skydiving, pretty much. So probably just a smaller camera, like
Or like a
you could use
USB
an iPhone,
webcam, or even
USB
a
webcam, anything
phone.
like that would probably work you better.
Otherwise, if you know how long it'll be before it cuts out, just kind of monitor that, and
Yep.
then just hit the start button again, and then you can use YouTube's free editor, just slap them together, and that's a nice, easy fix. That way you don't have to worry about getting another camera.
All right.
Or you could, I've actually used YouTube for some of my videos. And so what you can do is, it has a little card, if I remember correctly, and you can actually buy a bigger card. You can get them on eBay for like, I think I got like 100 gig or something like that for maybe like $60 or something. It's been several years ago. But the only thing is, if you're gonna have something where it's up close, be sure to have the camera up close. And the GoPro, it likes to capture everything around. So you have to have basically no ledge. So if you're gonna set it on a table, look to make sure it's at the like very edge, like have it sit like right there. So if you have it set up on something, otherwise if you put your camera right here and you have it on a box, it's gonna capture this. And so if you
have the table in the
yeah, you'll have the table in it. And so you'll definitely want to have it propped so it only gets the focus that you want it to get. But yeah, then I think you have to use its own software. I've tried using it in Adobe Premiere Pro CS5 to edit, and if you use it, make sure that like there's no like fancy pattern on the wall or anything behind it, because the video will tend to jump. And it'd be almost like, for some people who have epilepsy, it could be problematic. So just be careful with GoPro.
Is there another question back here?
More hands.
I was just going to say one thing about storing your video. You should really have maybe 3 drives and leave one at work or somewhere off-site.
Yeah.
Just because,
It's good data hygiene.
well, it's good data hygiene. But you have tornado putting it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Triplets.
More questions?
Yeah. Have you guys ever? You said
your videos at the beginning are not as good quality because you're growing your channel and you're getting better equipment and everything. Have you ever done like a purge of your not so wonderful material?
Okay, so I did a purge, but it wasn't a purge because of quality. I continued to use the same garbage camera for a while. I deleted a bunch of stuff that I was doing like a weekly like update on the stuff that I had written on my blogs. And I was like in a basement, it was dark, it looked terrible, the audio was garbage, so I have deleted some videos, but not necessarily due to the like quality of the like actual substance, but like what the video is about, and I just don't want it around anymore. Have you guys ever purged for quality purposes?
Everything I put out is gold, man.
Just do like Nicholas does, and you'll be set.
If only we could all have
Why'd
the
you
self-confidence
purge?
of a mediocre white man. Anyway.
No.
That is a meme. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I've never purged anything because I think it also is kind of representative of my growth, but also I don't make a video unless I stand behind it. So I could go back to my first video, and I'm trembling like I'm just scared out of my wits, which I was. I'm not exactly not scared here, I'll be honest, but let's be real, this is a lot easier than it used to be. You know, I could go back and stand behind that 100%. I can go back to a video where I talked about the Ashley Madison hack, where all the cheater monkey needers got stuff hacked, haha. And you know, and I can stand behind everything I said in that. I can also, because I have the personal integrity in my mind to stick by what I say, and if things change, then I will call myself out on it. But I've never been like, wow, this is trash, look at the audio is not synced, or I shot that on an iPhone, I'm better than that, or delete. No, it's because I made videos that I believed in, and I love doing them, and I love going back to them and seeing how far I've grown as a speaker, as a technical person, but also I love making those videos, so why wouldn't I get rid of them? And I get there's a point where you're like, this has gotten 3 views in 3 years, I don't care about it, you know, no one's gonna miss it. And that's all personal and subjective, it's whatever. But I've never done a purge because I think it's kind of representative of who you've become as a YouTuber, but also as a person, because you grow as a person doing this as well. I've never been able to, before doing this is like a nightmare, you know? But it's great to do it now, and I don't really think that unless you really just are sick of the video, I say keep it, because you can look back and say, wow, I've gotten so much better. I'm not trembling. I'm making eye contact with a stranger and not. And it's huge and it's great. What are you laughing at? Yeah, of course not a stranger, my girlfriend. But that's the thing. It's like it all depends, you know. And some people delete videos too just because if they touch on a subject and they're getting mass hate for it. I mean, look at the Fine Brothers when they were doing that. We're going to trademark React, and that, you know, bit them in the backside.
How's that working for you?
Yeah.
So, you know, and I can get some people to delete videos based on certain things, but, you know, I think if you stand by what you say, if you're someone who speaks your mind in the video, or if you just want to really look back and see how far you've come, I say just, you know, keep your videos, keep them all, because no one's going to look at your video count and say, oh, they have 100 videos and 2 subscribers, their content must be trash. I mean, if they're going to think that, they're going to think it anyway.
Yeah.
So, just go with what you feel is best, but I mean, if you really enjoyed making that video, keep it.
2 quick things I want to add on to that. There is a reason that there is such a popular thing where people go back and react to their first video.
There you go.
There is an entire thing about that on YouTube. So at the very minimum, you can keep them in. Like, you don't have to delete on YouTube. The great thing about it is that it serves as cloud storage, so you can just unlist the video or make it private, and you can still see it and not have to have it out there and not get rid of it entirely. But like, watching old videos can be really amusing for yourself and for your audience.
Comedy gold.
Comedy gold.
If you don't want to keep it on YouTube, at least keep it in your archives.
Totally, yeah. Over there.
How do you find unlicensed content like music or is it background like that?
Okay, so music. YouTube itself, if you are in your like creator studio thing, on the left side you've got all these bars, and towards the bottom there's this little one that says create. If you click it, it'll open up a little drop-down menu, and the very first thing in there is an audio library of a bunch of music and sound effects that are free for you to use on your videos. Some of them you have to give attributions for, and some you don't. That is an extremely valuable resource as far as like music is concerned. I don't
Some video and auditory software, and software will have that too. Like
Yeah, like Adobe Suite will have a lot of custom stuff like that too.
I have
So.
something to say about the music on the YouTube.
What?
So I made a video. I randomly found my password, a notebook full of old passwords, and I found my MySpace password.
Don't take forever. We only have 5 minutes.
I'm not gonna take forever. Jeez. So I logged into my MySpace. I was like, wow, I'm gonna make a video just showing off all my old MySpace pics and reacting to them because they're stupid. And I used music from YouTube's library. And even though I used one of their songs, it still monetized it for the person who made the music that YouTube allowed them to use their music.
That's
Did you not get the attribution or something, or was it?
Oh, I did.
Oh my
But
God.
some songs.
I think that's probably the exception.
Some songs still do it. So
Well.
just really, really look at which song you pick. Because they'll have a little grayed out $sign, you may not notice it, so just really keep an eye open for that.
Otherwise, there are several royalty-free music websites out there where you can buy a disc, or maybe I'm old, but I prefer the discs themselves rather to downloads. So there's that option as well. There are like archives, like archive.org, the New York Institute, I forget how it is, but anyway, there's several places where you can actually have the older stuff and it's for free. So it's Creative Commons, so Google Creative Commons. A lot of artists will have free stuff out there available for use. There are some like Kevin McLeod or McLeod, I can't remember his name.
Incompetech is amazing.
He's awesome. And so he's like, you can donate or not donate. I always tend to donate because, I mean, if I'm making money from my videos, then so should he. And so wherever you can, if you can donate a couple bucks to these people, do it. If you're looking for graphics or other things, there is openclipart.org, and I use that quite often. And then there's pixabay.com or .org, I can't remember offhand, but that's for like graphics, sometimes video. There's a whole slew of amazing things that people are willing to create and you can use to your, whatever you want, like personal or commercial use.
Make friends with a graphic designer. All right, anybody else? Questions? Hat.
Kat, you're live on YouTube right now.
I am.
Correct? And I don't know if anybody else, have you noticed that affects your subscriber rate or your views at all?
Well, I tend to do YouTube Live. I try to do it at least a couple times a month. I don't really watch my numbers, so I'd say if you are kind of new at this, don't watch your numbers. Because if you see it's not going up or down or it's dropping, because like there's one video I did and I was uploading a video, I saw, I dropped some subscribers. And I was like, but it doesn't matter because, the next month it can go up. So never look, I never hardly ever look at those unless for some reason I have to go in there because I have to like schedule a video or upload a video or something. So I don't know. But it makes my people happy and I love them all. And so they enjoy it. So this is a way they can interact with me because I'm so busy with everything. I don't have time to answer emails, and so I have in several places. If people want to ask me questions and I can respond, it's going to only be during YouTube Live, unfortunately.
You might not be able to gain very many subs, but it really intensifies the relationship with the community.
It does.
It is so, so important to have that relationship.
It gives you a chance to kind of build some engagement and some interaction. People are invested in your channel a little bit more, minute for minute if it's live stream versus if it's pre-recorded, because they can talk with you.
Totally. No, I haven't heard you yet.
So how would I deal with limitations of a Chromebook? Those can't really install anything.
Yeah, I know that there's like Apple specific software, but I don't know anything about any of it.
You could just, if you're looking to record with your phone, you could upload the file, or can you oh man, why'd you buy a Chromebook? I mean, I suppose the best thing you can do with that is possibly upload things from your phone if you have a smartphone and then just do editing on it. Because
pretty much,
like I said, everyone starts somewhere. It's not about limiting yourself because of your technical limitations. It's doing what you can with what you have. So I'd say record with your phone and then just use YouTube's editor and do your editing on there if you want to just do your own vlogging and stuff. But that's the downfall is there are times too where you get what you pay for as far as computers go. I'd recommend even getting a beater laptop that can actually run like Windows, Linux, or I can't say a cheap Mac because that's a lie.
Yeah.
But you can even get laptops that are cheaper than Macs that are technically superior. So sorry if that triggers any Mac people here. But you know, again, it's a get as you grow thing, you know. But you can definitely use your Chromebook as an editing device, using YouTube's editor, uploading from your phone, then editing on that, which I highly recommend. So it's a starting point. Don't be discouraged at all.
Totally. Okay, we have one last question time. Hi.
Quick question. This might be a tough one, but how do you get over camera shyness?
Look in the mirror. Just talk to yourself for like 20 solid minutes.
You know what?
Cocaine.
Blow it up! No, if you set aside 2 minutes in the morning or the evening and literally just look yourself in the eyes in the mirror, it seems really silly, but it does help. It helps a lot. And even in terms of just like flow of commentary, I know that's not exactly what you asked, but it's kind of the same solution. Is like if you're in the car in your commute, just like commentate like your morning commute, you know? And it sounds dumb, but it just gets you in the habit of kind of getting used to talking for an audience that isn't there. So I would absolutely recommend it. It feels silly, but that's part of why it works.
Yeah, and then the intermediary step sort of there is like just sitting down and recording yourself talking. Like, it's gonna seem really stupid, you're gonna rewatch it and you're gonna be like, why do I say like all the time and all of this? And you just have to really get into the habit of like looking at the camera as if you are speaking to another person, but you're speaking to literally anyone.
It
So
can
it's
also
tough, but you can do it. You just gotta trick yourself.
It can also help to put an adorable little stuffy or something right next to your webcam, so you look at your buddy, you don't look at the webcam.
Yeah.
Right? It makes it a lot easier, it really does.
The eyes on my camera, all right.
Yeah.
It's definitely it gets easier as you do it. I mean, my first video I was shaking, and my voice was really high, and I was like, "Hi everybody, I'm a little bitch." And now it's like Jessica's called me out on it. And she's like, "Why you gotta use broadcast voice in the house?" Because but I love you dearly. But you know, it's one of those things where the more you do it, the easier it gets. You know, it's kind of like now it's almost like trying to tell someone how you brush your teeth. You just have done it so much to the point where it just comes natural, you know. So eye contact with you is like the same with eye contact with my camera. You just know that there's someone on the other side of that. There's a living, breathing human being who is, not to quote you, taking time out of their day to, and it's true, watching your stuff and, you know, possibly investing in you and subscribing and stuff like that. So you can't look at it as there's someone who might not like my stuff. It's, hey, I'm talking to someone and here's what I got, and they can take it or leave it, just like real life.
What helps me is there's a thing on my phone where I can flip the screen so I can see what's recording, and it sounds like watching myself should make me more nervous, but it's like somebody to talk to and I can see what I'm looking at, so I don't have to think about that. So I don't know if that would help you or not.
Yeah. But talking in the car, just talking to yourself, I mean, eventually it's the same thing. It's just that mentality you've hit the record button. It's a little scary, but the more you do it, the more it just becomes second nature. I'm more comfortable behind a microphone in front of a camera now, even doing this, than I am just being by myself. So it's weird. It's a weird flip, but you will get used to it. It will get better. It will suck at first, but it does get better and it does get easier.
Totally. And on that wonderfully positive note, that is the end of our hour. Real quick, thank you. I'm gonna let everybody plug their channels really quick, okay? Kat, what's your channels?
All right, and as I talked about earlier about having a different YouTube name, mine is Bald Chick. Because I used to be bald-headed for the longest time. So again, choose a name. Otherwise I would have had it to be Kat Surth. Otherwise, just Google me, just Kat, and then Surth is S-U-R-T-H. I'm on Instagram. No longer on Twitter, I have it on my business one. But otherwise, I'm everywhere. Yeah.
I am Morjax most everywhere, M-O-R-J-A-X. I've got business cards and badge ribbons here for anyone who's interested. My 80-page guide, yeah, you can have one. My 80-page guide can be found on my YouTube About page, and it's pay what you want. I would recommend grab it for free, take it for a spin. If you are able to and interested in paying money for it, feel free. But I want to help you guys make your awesome YouTube channels primarily. That is at is.gd/Y create, YouTube create, or on my About page. I'm also playing with Hadison Daiko, taiko drumming here at CONvergence. Saturday in the Garden Court at 11 a.m. and then 1 p.m. main stage Sunday. So please come see us whack on drums really, really hard. It's gonna be awesome.
What's your channel?
I'm youtube.com/ it's njboden1 in the URL, but my name's just njboden. It's the same on Twitter, it is the same on Instagram, but I'm never on it, so don't bother. It's the same on VidMe. I do VidMe and YouTube simply because if I make something, I just want to get it out there as much as I can. I don't necessarily care about growth per se, but I figure if I put in the work, I'd like as many people to see it as possible. But NJBODEN on YouTube, you can find me there, and I upload videos usually twice a week.
And if you really, really, really want to see my stuff, you just go to patreon.com/Luxander. I have 2 YouTube channels and a blog and a podcast. So that is it for our panel. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, guys.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And for anyone that's interested, I've set aside, I don't know if you all are as well.
Be here for a
I'm
little
going to be
bit.
here for like until they kick me out or go somewhere else. So I'm happy to field any specific questions you have.
Yeah, I have some more questions.
Yes,
I don't have
please,
a life, so I'm just going to be
I
here.
think
Whoever wants to.
Oh, he has them as well.
Clear out in about 15 minutes just to...
Yes.
All right.
Would you like a business card as well? I would love it. It's got my goofball face on the front.
Hello. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, 145, I read this.
Yeah.
I did read the email.
Good,
It took
you
my
seem
CD.
fun anyway.
I'm
Hi.
a horrible
Hello. Would you like a badge?
I just use YouTube. So right on YouTube, there is a little camera, and so there's a little camera on YouTube. So you go to YouTube, if you have the app, I can show you real quick.
Business card as well? Okay. Oh, sure. Thank you. I can help with that. I've got those. No, I've got a whole pile of them. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, badges.
Okay, cool. Now,
I was gonna go around the corner.
Sure.
I definitely would love to.
okay, so there should be an. Yeah, so there should be in there. You gotta stab some.
So if you go to I'm Mookie Morjax on YouTube, it's on my About page, or you can hit me up on Twitter or whatever, and I'm happy to point it your way. Grab it for free and just use it to your however.
So try clicking on that one again.
Thank you.
Well, I'm trying to help my husband out, so I'm like,
Yes, and I think my email's on there as well. Email, Twitter.
How
If
to
you've
use
got
a
questions, I'll do my
Samsung.
best.
Here, I will.
So, yeah.
I can't really use mine because I'm using this.
Yes.
But anyway, it'll look like that camera
My
like just
beautiful
saw,
mug on the front.
and it'll ask if you want to upload a video or go live, and then you click on it to go live. And then
You
it'll
don't
be a
have to.
screen where you enter the name of your episode, and then it asks to take a photo. And once you
Yes,
click on the
that
photo,
is, if you go to my YouTube
that
page,
you want to use it,
Mookie Morjax
then you can
on
say
YouTube,
go live.
it's on my About page, so
step by step,
youtube.com/Mookie Morjax/about. There's a link there, download it for free, and
so I
there's
have a
a
question,
lot
I
of
guess kind
resources
of
in there for
specifically
you.
for you. I'm
I'll
looking
be
for
sure to
YouTube
search
that's
for
not.
your YouTube channel and watch for it.
Thank you.
So you just listen to like other things too, like another Vimeo. And I was
Yes,
wondering
you
what
absolutely
other
may. Would you like a
things
badge
you
ribbon
use
as well?
that are similar.
It is blue. They come in blue and also blue again.
I know, like I've got like I do YouTube reviews, and so sometimes I have copyrighted content, which is totally legally used. And the first time
Yes,
I
and
let them know, they
my
cleared it
email,
up,
my
so they
Twitter's
just
on
not
there, my
clean it
YouTube
up.
as well.
So I just-
Feel free, reach out if you have any questions. I'll do my best to help because a lot of the growing pains that people experience when they're starting their channel is the same for everybody. So like we can help each other go through that hard part easier. So yes, please reach out.
And so that's where I put a lot of my content.
Yes, I'm in New Brighton. So.
Yeah, that's because you're selling it.
Bethany?
So it's good luck. And then you have like so I have probably like 200 or 300
Yes,
videos on there that I'm
would you like a
selling.
card as well?
But otherwise, I always have little preview clips on various websites. Right now I can't think of anything.
Right. No, that's cool. If it comes to your mind right away, then it's probably
If it's self-quality information, self-quality the best.
Absolutely no, I use it.
Oh, thank
It
you.
happens to me all the time, so I'm like, I gotta let her know.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sticker piece. And also, I was gonna get your recommendation on. I asked her too. Websites do similar things to YouTube that aren't YouTube, like for monetizing videos. That's on YouTube.
Hello, cool.
Yes. So
There you go.
if you're
Thanks for
doing
coming.
game videos, which I don't know if you are,
videos I spend way too much time.
okay.
Yeah, YouTube and
There's a
Facebook
few
are,
different,
yeah, there's just so
ones,
much
like, trying to
amazing
think
stuff
of
on
them
there.
offhand. There's
Especially, like, I
Vimeo,
love the
Cafe.
music videos from the 1950s.
Yeah, feel free. And if you want, my my Twitter's on here. Ask me anytime you like. My email's on there as well.
What kind of YouTube videos
My email's at the
are
bottom.
you guys
It's
doing?
there. I will when I'm back at my battle station, I may be able to drum up some ideas for you. So,
Definitely.
but it's good to diversify.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get anyway.
Yeah, definitely get started. I mean, if nothing else, like there's always just phone. But
I have a lot of
a lot of times I do a lot of improv. I have
would
like an
say,
idea,
no matter
and
where
then I
you
just go with
to
it.
make sure that you're doing it in a way that it's fair use. So I'm not accusing you of anything, but if you like, let's say if you uploaded Fantasia on YouTube, it's gonna get flagged. And if you do it on Vimeo, it might not get flagged, but you're still not allowed to do it. So I know that you're probably careful about that, but I feel like that's
No, that's good.
Camera, so you can actually
Yes.
set the TV camera you can log into from over there and move the camera around and look at it.
That sounds amazing. A lot of people like tabletop, and so if you, I don't know if people actually have done it on YouTube, but it sounds like you have something that's definitely different than everybody else's, and a lot of people who are getting into tabletop don't know how to like get started, or how the DM works things. So I think your channel would be fantastic, and so I would get on that as soon as you could.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm already,
anyway,
I'm
would you
already
like
running videos,
or
I'm not recording it, so.
Right.
Okay.
Definitely, that sounds great.
And my email and Twitter are on there. Feel free if you've got any questions, reach out. And I'm Mookie Morjax on YouTube. You can find my guide on my About page. Grab it for free if you like it, and if you're in a place where you can pay money for it, that's fine. Otherwise, just grab it for free. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Howdy. Hello.
Sensitive about it and everything.
Can I press my wares upon you, sir?
Super great. Like for sure.
Would you like both?
Yes.
Okay.
Pronouns and
Thank you.
Very good. My email and Twitter is on there. If you have any questions you think I can help with, I would be happy to fill out for you as best as I may. And my guide can be found if you go to my About page on my YouTube channel. Grab it for free. Take it for a spin.
Yeah, it was the first I've ever made ribbon, so that was an interesting.
Yes.
And see the process.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of back and forth. Like, can you do it like this? And they're like, no. And I was like, can you do it this way? No. It's like, oh.
Cool. You're defeating the purpose of this.
I want it my way.
Yeah, there's an informed.
Hi. Did you want to read
Hello.
it?
Nice, yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, as soon as I.
Yes.
Absolutely.
How do you find your models?
Would you like a badge ribbon as well?
So Craigslist. And so this Craigslist, modelmayhem.com. And sometimes just word of mouth.
Yeah. So my
But
Twitter and
yes,
email are
I
on
used
there.
to have,
Feel free
I
if you've
needed,
got any
I
questions
have to
that I
totally
can help
redo my
with.
website. So I have
Hit me up.
haircuttingfun.com.
My Pay What You Want
And
guide
so
can be
I
found
need to redo
on my
that.
About page on YouTube.
And so I can have like the modeling, because there's several videos I want to shoot. I have ideas like vintage stuff, so stuff
Or you could just ask me on
20s
Twitter.
and 30s.
That's it.
And,
But yeah, grab it for free, and hopefully it helps you out.
20s, like pinup.
I want you guys to make your awesome YouTube channel because I love making
I
mine.
know the feeling. I don't know, would you be interested in modeling?
I would absolutely. I used to model, and then
Yeah.
I started
Yeah.
learning his
What are you working on?
Currently, I'm working on a big
and so now I just go to
project.
cheap places, and
Going
it's
from
like, just
where
get
I'm at right now to becoming
I'm in St. Paul, but I do a lot of videos at Carmen's Salon.
Right.
Unfortunately, her salon just
So it's
sold
kind
out
of like
in the
almost like
process
a
of
web
moving, and she's moving to a different
Okay,
salon.
sure.
So I would like to start making more videos in August. So that's when I'm going to put out my ads for looking for models, because I want to do like just really cool, like the old time like finger waves and various things. But as for me, I haven't had to pay for my own hair
It's so easy to
for
get
like any services,
discouraged, and I think
perming,
that socializing with
whatever.
other people that
Probably
are trying
since
to
the early
do
2000s.
even something
And
similar,
so
maybe not the
it's
same
like,
thing. It helps a lot.
Yeah,
It
just
really
do a hair
does.
video, you get paid for
So
it.
just hanging out with
Why
people on
not?
Twitter, or I spend an
I don't
ungodly
have any
amount of time on the Let's Play subreddit, which is specifically about gaming YouTube
Let's
content.
see, I had shaved my
But it
head,
just really helps
let's see,
to
when was that?
rub shoulders
So I
with
used to model a
people.
lot.
I'm trying to do what you're doing.
It was back
Because
in,
it's really
I
easy
think maybe
to spread out
2000. That's when I shaved my head, and then I had my head shaved for about 5 years.
Buzz or like shaven?
Oh, totally shaven. Oh, wow. And I was flown probably all over, so I was an international model.
I did Buddy for a while. I used one called
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
vidIQ. Right.
But yeah, so I've had people saying,
I find
oh,
that
hey,
vidIQ
Ken,
has a
you
little
should do
bit better
those videos too. And I was
free
like,
options,
you know,
and I'm not
before I was
currently
never
in a
in the
place where I'm
video.
interested
I was
in
like,
paying for
oh,
the
get the camera
subscription.
away. I don't want video.
But it's really helpful. You can actually
yeah, I was
go, if
flown
you're
out
trying to place for a certain
to Chicago to
type
shoot
of
the
video,
first
you can go on other
video I
videos
ever
that are
filmed.
popular,
And
lot
no,
in
that's
that
Detroit.
search,
to
and you
wherever.
can check what their
But
tags
anyway,
are.
and
you
my
might
stylist
pull
was
a
like,
couple
oh, your
of
hair,
those
because I
tags,
used
or
to
if you
I
see
do
repeat
that.
tags,
And she was like, your hair's falling out, and
that
now
can
to
help
shave it
to
off.
fill out
And
your
so
Alright,
within that same
tags and
day,
description, so,
photographer
yeah.
called me. He's like, don't hang up. I was like, okay, this is interesting.
I
He's
never
like,
had problems
would you
filling
ever
up my-
consider shaving
my
your head?
description.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
It's
well, actually, the funny
well,
thing,
I
you
have
just
to delete
said
one
that
down.
because my stylist
Right,
just
you gotta
said.
choose.
You gotta
And,
pick the right one.
Yeah, so
I
since
hear ya.
then, yeah, it's like
You wanna rank for
perms,
everything, you can't.
Right.
roller
Yeah.
sets, shampooing.
And I'd say
I don't-
if
like
you
I said, I
have
have
to
a
choose,
business
pick the
card
more
that I can
specific
give you.
ones.
My website,
because
it's
YouTube,
not really functional
is good
at
about
redoing
connecting
it.
people with what they're searching for.
But
so
you
like,
can get an idea.
for me,
Otherwise,
I'm never,
definitely check
none
out
of my
my
videos are gonna rank
YouTube
for
channel,
just
and you can
less
see
if you type that in. So
yeah.
I don't even use
all
it
the
as a
different
tag
hair videos.
because I can't muscle for position on any of it. You know.
But yeah, and so
Anyway, there's a lot to that too.
And
As you well know.
Yes, and I'll put it up here too.
Deep dive of
Yeah, I wish I would have changed this a long time ago.
how to make
Now it's
this
ironic.
work.
Yeah, it's funny. And I love going bald. It was fantastic. The styles. Oh, you've been bald too? Oh, we definitely have to talk because I would love to do video because that's another thing too. Is people want to see videos of women talking about like their hair because it's like they're scared about going bald, but they've always wanted to try it, but they don't know.
Not that I'm aware of. I've never heard of that happening. So far as I know, the
every
creator
woman should
has
try
to
it once,
manually put in the
just see their
tags.
face
You can put
without
channel
hair.
wide
Well, I
ones
mean,
that
I
show
always
up on
just
all
consider
the
it
videos.
a weird skull shape, but I don't know about
on the
it.
video per se.
But it makes it searchable.
But yeah, it
it'll
makes
be
like
cool.
the
It'll
messages
be
act as
something
tags.
that you've
And
never
I
seen
don't have any
before.
first-hand experience with this.
And hair
I
grows
heard
back
about
pretty
this from
quick.
CG
Yep,
Gray
exactly.
on his podcast.
So like usually about 6 months after shaving my head, my hair is like right about right here.
No, you can actually get your accounts to
What's your natural hair color? I'm a brunette.
Yes.
My eyebrows are my color, but I actually put black in it.
I think it's 65 years.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm looking at your hair right now, so I would love to do this. I can't remember what they're called, but it's almost what give you finger waves. So I would love to see that in your hair. And your hair is long enough for pin curls. And finger curls, I think they're awesome. I think they're beautiful.
So they have an ongoing reviews.
Yeah, so definitely, here, let me give you my email address too.
Yeah, like, oh, we're back up. I caught up.
Because, yeah, I'm definitely interested in talking to you again.
No, it's
Were you
really
interested
great.
in modeling as well?
Sure,
why not?
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, like right now I'm busy.
Oh,
Like I said, I
oh
want to
my
wait
God,
for
yeah.
Carmen
CGP
to
Gray
salon
and green
to
hair.
finish. Like she has
You
to
know either
move.
of those guys?
Yes.
But
They're,
and she's
they are wise
located in
minds of
Columbia
YouTube.
Yes,
Heights,
they are.
out by
I
Fridley.
love the podcast.
I totally started listening to Cortex because I typed in like
Thank you
YouTube
so much. You're
podcast and it was like
welcome.
Cortex and I was like, I'm just a moron because he's been like listening to Cortex for forever and I'm like,
Brady
oh,
has
watch
like
this.
5 YouTube channels.
No, yeah, he does everything.
Brady has
Yeah.
I believe,
Like
15.
on his way to
Just
Mount Everest.
ridiculous.
This is what happens when you've been up since.
Well,
I've been up
a
since
lot of it
5.
was stuff
Yes.
that other
So
people did
okay, so
over.
it's Kessler the
And I give you a business card, but
I still have
you already know me everywhere I am.
I quite do. I've had the luxury of being used
No,
for
this is my
so
only
it's been
one.
quite a time.
So,
Enjoyable at that.
I used to go to
Oh,
these,
I also
and
have
I was like, oh,
Super
I'd love to
Duper
be able to
Secret.
talk because I got some, things
No,
I want
we
to
did.
share.
We were at
Yeah, with
that,
12,000.
This is for our drumming
Yeah,
performance.
Yeah,
You had some really good
Oh,
stuff to say.
You guys stuck around longer,
But
so
yeah,
you get
each
the
of my
super
videos
secret
gets to
ribbon.
be
you-
usually around
you
several
double
thousand
popped
views.
my
So I have
cherry.
some that are like
Oh, God.
60,000
You better-
views,
Thank you.
whatever.
That, I wanted
So
to
that's
say
the
that
thing
earlier,
too.
but
Is like
Michelle's
if you
gonna
have your
hurt
own
tomorrow
YouTube
more.
channels,
Yeah.
what I
So
can do
somebody's
is
gotta
like
give you
in the
the first ribbon
video,
every
like
year,
sometimes,
right?
I mean, I always do like a preview clip for the video as well. And if you already have like
I
a
have things to
website or a channel that you want to be publicized, I always try to
So I play
publicize
Tycho
you all.
Master all the
So
time.
I put that
Does
information
that
out there.
does that count?
But
It does.
some people might.
I made these.
Oh yeah, there's
I
always
love to watch
crossovers because a
guys
lot
like
of
Cowboys
things. A lot of things is
and I actually
okay. So when you are on the website
have,
or in the
I just
videos, people
bought
are like,
a,
oh my
I have an
god,
Elgato
this is
HD
she's amazing,
camera.
and they're like, where can I see more? And so a lot of times, then you'll start getting more traffic.
I actually got
this one gal, she sold her own hair videos, and it's like,
So I gave someone my
just
phone
because she
to
wasn't getting that many
and I can
views
run
or whatever
videos to you
sales.
from my
And I was like, well, just give me one of your videos,
and
and
they made
I
this
will
radio
put it on my
show.
YouTube channel, and you'll probably get sales that way. And that's
And then
exactly what happened.
I've got a designer in Australia that helps me out for a pretty good price.
It's content for me, and then it's
Do like the
also
layout
because I like to be able
stuff. You can kinda hack it,
to
but
get
it's
others
not
to
really great.
get out there.
And then they turn out really
It's not
nice.
fun.
They feel
That's the thing I do love about
I've wanted to
YouTube.
make
I was
one
gonna
before.
It's a
ask.
passionate,
Like,
you know,
like,
and
yeah, so
it's like a
the
community.
pretty dang thing is
Everyone that I talk to on there
Nice
how
quality.
are
Yeah. I don't know how I do,
welcoming.
but
I
it'd
mean,
be
for the
fun.
most part. You know,
I
there
would
are trolls
recommend them.
everywhere,
Worked- I
but for
was
the most
really
part, everyone's super welcoming and they want everyone to succeed. And that's
There's like
this is a
half a dozen
platform
sites. I ordered them last
for
year.
us by us.
First
Like,
one,
we're the only
I
reason
think
that it
there's a
still
post on the
exists.
CONvergence website about it.
You know?
If you remind me,
That's why I
500
can't stand the sub for sub thing. And I would get people commenting like,
expansion pack because I didn't want to waste.
check out my video. I did a video just like this. Check it out. I'm like, that makes me really not want to go on
And,
YouTube channel at all.
Yeah, and so like for your YouTube, you can actually have it set up where if anybody tries to spam it, it's just automatically deleted.
Oh, that's nice.
Note now.
I have to have that because just like on my, I have the cat Surth, just my website, that's my landing page, and I was just sending it to
I have already forgotten.
and there was like
We're done.
8,000 spam
I literally
messages. I'm like,
That's
come on.
Plug it in your 4K TV, you'll get a
So
picture.
if it's luckily, you know, they can just automatically, yeah, they'll never.
And you'll never see it. It doesn't
But I look forward to working with both of you.
Yes, I'm Azalea, so
Not
look
so
for
much
that
on that
name.
one.
I'm Fat.
I get distracted before
Azalea?
the
They sound terrible.
Jessica,
Where
thank you for putting up with Nick for the hour.
Where do you
And
live?
so, now what would you like
No,
to
you're
have
supposed to
done?
say, I know where you
So
live.
what would you like to have done with your hair, like roller sets?
So northwest out of Minneapolis.
Okay.
Play very well.
Oh, cool.
I don't want to interrupt.
All right, so
We're
you
up the
probably,
outskirts
because
of downtown.
your hair's longer,
Yeah, yeah.
and I've
So
had
if
it
you wanna
called
do anything,
lately
I'd
for
post it on
roller
the store.
sets. And so if you
Yeah,
like,
that's fine.
I do a lot of
swear
vintage
sometimes
stuff.
too. I just did
And
for
so I probably
charity.
do
I played
maybe
for
like
Final
some kind of
Fantasy
like a
V. I've been
1950s
watching
or
signs
60s
for sign
updo.
jobs.
And
And
so
there's
your hair's
one
long
boss
enough. My
where I had
hairstylist,
4
her name's
berserkers at that point in the
Carmen.
game where
She
they
prefers
can't
hair
use
right
items,
there.
they can't
Your
use
hair
spells, they
length is
just attack.
perfect. So yes,
And you
I
have to
would love
level
that
up.
for
My
roller
buddy
sets.
beat the game, and the 2 super bosses, I was 23. I had this, it was Sandworm. No, it was,
There's this
Activate.
Okay, so
Is the
some
one
you
who's-
had
he's
some
like a
questions,
Final
like when I was
Fantasy
gonna
V
get next
monster.
per.
It's unbelievable.
I hope to
It's like
But
probably
I had to level up to
it's
just
fall,
level
more darker
40
colors,
to beat this
and it's more
boss that was like a
curly.
third of the way
So
in.
we'll definitely
And
do
I
it
was
then. And did anybody else have any more
What is
questions?
this?
I will
The
check
Nintendo 64 handle board.
messages real quick.
Somebody made like
Oh,
an
it's
amazing. Like,
If I missed you, I'm sorry.
I'll send you one and you'll put it on your channel.
All right.
Oh my God, I
I'm
would
on you.
do that
Thank
in a heartbeat.
you.
That'd be
Hi,
awesome.
Waylon.
Yeah.
I might do that.
Rob says.
I got your business
Oh.
card.
Yes,
Let's
yes,
see.
please reach out to me.
I'm just a
I'm
bored
kinda glad I
person.
never
I do
got that
stuff.
diagnosis.
Okay,
I don't like
so
how
you
you
said
do
it's
that.
an N64?
Okay, so Rob
It's a
says
handheld.
you're going
It's
to
an
see me wear
actual
the
N64.
shirt and tie, and I cannot speak
The screen
English.
is a place, you know the real small
Yeah, plus
PlayStation 1.
when I speak, honey,
I
sometimes.
bought a screen, and
Yeah.
that's the screen.
It's hard
The
to
screen
actually
speakers
understand what
from
I'm
the
saying.
PlayStation 1 screen.
I'm sorry, we're so loud.
Oh no, that's
I'm like
okay.
yelling in your ear.
Oh no, you're
But
fine.
no, it's all original
But
Nintendo
okay,
parts.
I am going to
Nintendo
go
expansion
now.
pack, Nintendo controller, Nintendo motherboard.
So
you put in the actual cartridge,
anybody has
you put in the
anything
memory card,
last they want
and it
to
works.
like have me comment
like
on.
I've got a
But thank you all
sparkle in
for
my eye.
attending
Yeah.
and watching.
No.
I hope
That's incredible.
those of you
I
who
could
do
get one
on
of
the
those in your
YouTube channel
That would be amazing.
listen
I
to
think that
what everyone was
those are really
saying and
fun,
found
but
it
I have to
extremely
ask you
useful.
more.
Okay.
I'm
Thanks.
very happy you joined
Thanks for
and
doing
watched
this.
me and everybody else.
Oh, go!
Yeah, we got
No,
Everybody else.
what Lex is saying is get out.
And I guess that's pretty
Do you
much
want-
it. Oh, we
do you
had to
want
leave, so it's perfect timing. Have a fantastic weekend. You guys are all awesome. Be sure to subscribe, and I think that's it. So,
Sorry about that.
bye.